Welcome back to Capra Review. I'm Tasmin Mahfouz. This week, House Republicans held their first hearing on the impeachment inquiry for President Joe Biden, saying that he benefited from his son's business dealings. Joining us now is Sarakshi Rai with their media partners at The Hill. Sarakshi, great to see you again. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So it was more than a 6-hour-long hearing, but a lot of people on social media say that Republicans weren't prepared. Walk us through what you saw, though.
Look, it was a very long hearing with everyone speaking for 5 minutes, a lot of back and forth between the Republicans and the Democrats. And really at the heart of this hearing was the fact that really the Republicans struggled to really make a case for the impeachment of President Biden into this hearing. I mean, you heard from one of their own witnesses, Jonathan Turley, who said in the hearing that, he didn't think there was enough evidence to really impeach President Biden. But, they did make the case that there was maybe enough to launch an inquiry. So the Dems really seized on that moment. They came really well prepared to really defend President Biden. And the Republicans really looked ill-prepared to really make their case at this pivotal moment, when we're on the cusp of a shutdown.
And Representative Jasmine Crockett made some bold statements as well, comparing the allegations of President Biden versus the charges listed for former President Donald Trump. What did she say, and what's the difference between the two that people may not know?
Look, she really went after the Republicans for, failing to take seriously the charges against President Trump and instead launching what many Democrats believe to be a sham hearing into impeaching President Biden. Now, this is their words, and this is what they said in the hearing. The Democrats really feel that with all of the cases against former President Trump and just the sheer legal defense he's had to mount, they really think that, their time would be better served either looking into that or, focusing on the shutdown, which is set to start on October 1st. We've seen a lot of movement and conversation about that. We really saw the Democrats every time they spoke that, they had this shutdown clock counting down the hours and minutes and seconds to the government shutdown on an iPad displayed there. And they kept making their case saying, either we talk about former President Trump or we talk about the shutdown, but this is really, a waste of our time to be here.
Yeah, and following that, I want to focus on that. We're on the cusp of a government shutdown. Why does this hearing matter? What stood out to you?
I think this hearing really mattered because the Republicans really felt strongly enough that they had a case to launch this hearing into the impeachment of President Biden. They thought that they had done their due diligence, but a lot of the times, they were focusing on the dealings of the president's son, Hunter Biden, and his dealings with his foreign business partners. But, they really kept saying that there was a connection between Hunter Biden and President Biden. But they didn't make that case, right? So, there was this inconsistency in what they were saying, but what the witnesses were saying and the evidence that they had, it really was an investigation actually into the dealings of Hunter Biden rather than President Biden.
And how do you think this will all play out for the presidential elections?
Look, this is political theater, right? I think this will have an impact on how the public perceives President Biden. At the end of the day, he is his son, and the president is going to have to make a very strong case, kind of refuting these allegations that he had played a role in his son's business dealings. I think what will happen next is, as we heard from James Comer, who is the head of the House Oversight Committee, that, they will launch a subpoena for Hunter Biden's bank records, and they are going to launch an inquiry to investigate this matter further. So I think this will continue to be investigated by the Republicans to see if there is a connection between Hunter Biden and President Biden.
All right, The Hill, Sarakshi Rai, thank you so much for your insight and for your time. I really appreciate it.